Hello and welcome to the EuroWhat, episode 291, dropping on February 10th, 2026. We are a pair of Americans trying to make sense of the Eurovision Song Contest. I'm Ben Smith, and I'm here with my co-host, Mike McComb. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Ben.
In this episode, we'll be talking about Dora and what makes Croatia unique within the competition. I have been watching so much mixed doubles curling the last few days, and it's been so much fun to watch.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I haven't watched any of the events yet, but did watch the opening ceremony, which seemed like a lot of fun. Looked really cold, but other than that.
Yes, but also just like there was so much fun stuff going on, and just sort of it being in Italy again, just sort of like all of the hallmarks of Italian television are there. Mm-hmm. It's just like they have planned so many bits, and we will be doing all of them. Amongst those, Eurovision in the wild. What is Mariah Carey going to be performing? Apparently Volare.
Yeah, and making a couple of choices with it that are just like, kind of sucking all of the joy out of this song.
Yeah, like it shouldn't be a dirge. It should, like, your arm should be enthusiastically going into the air as you hit that chorus, and it was just like a weird slowdown.
Yeah, it was very somber, and it was just like, okay, but yeah, I mean, it was still lovely to hear.
Yes, and then I also caught amongst the various performers after the Parade of Nations, Gali, who is part of Sanremo 2024, in the mix.
Yeah, that was great to see him. And like the NBC announcers was just like, oh, he's an Italian rapper. End of bio.
End of notes.
It's like, no, he has this like really cool alien friend that is part of his performance, who did not make an appearance. I was actually kind of hoping that he would.
Yeah, like very disappointed we did not get Gali's alien friend in the mix. I think my favorite image of the opening ceremony is just sort of the collection of people dressed as mocha pots during like the very colorful intro.
Yeah, that was right about the point that we two did, so I had zero context for what was going on there.
I don't think that, like, even if you had seen it from the start, I don't think the context would have helped. It was just sort of, it's just like, hello, we are Italian and we are arty and we are going to be doing this for 20 minutes.
Looking forward to the next 2 weeks. And then
yes.
Sanremo is right after that.
And then Sanremo is like right there. Yeah, just like if you are watching a live television event happening in Italy, pack a lunch.
Yep.
Anyways, let's talk about Croatia in the contest. And I wanted to kind of take like a different approach, just because there's a lot of things with Croatia that match a lot of what we've been chatting about the last few weeks, just due to the serendipity of how we have been, of how nations are selecting their entries this year. Because we've been talking about a lot of the early 90s entrants to the contest. And like Croatia is one of those nations that emerges from that. Like their debut in the contest is actually a re-debut as an independent nation. Mm-hmm. Croatia was part of Yugoslavia, who we've talked about surprisingly extensively on the show.
Yeah. It's been Yugoslavia year for at least 2 years now, I feel. So
yes. And like we talked about them hosting the contest last summer. But Croatia provided the Yugoslavian representation for the contest for 10 different contests. And that includes stuff like my beloved Dubroveki Troubadouri and Jedan Dan, but also that 1990 episode when they sent Taichi.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, Yugoslavia splits up in 1991. That's a fairly, like, it's very glib to say this, but like that's a fairly messy breakup geographically for those nations. But they all sort of eventually make their way to Eurovision. Hrvatski Televishki in Croatia joins the EBU in 1993, immediately qualifies for the contest via Kvalifikacije on Mill Street in 1993. They placed 15th in their first appearance. This is very similar to a lot of the other nations we've been chatting about. But then the other reason I wanted to try and take a different approach with this one is that in terms of how Croatia selects their entries, in 1993 and 1994, they have, Hrvatski Televishki Festival, the Croatian Television Festival. Mm-hmm. In 1995, they renamed that in honor of Croatian composer Dora Pejačević. So that's where Dora comes from, is a Croatian composer of note.
Oh, okay.
And like there's internal changes to its structure over the years. Like sometimes there's as far as like quarterfinals instead of just a semifinal. The general makeup of where the vote is coming from changes over the years, but like from the start, it's basically been Dora. And like the only times this has changed is when they have done internal selections. Just sort of the astronaut meme. Cool. Early 90s. How are they picking it? Oh, it's just Dora. Always has been.
Yeah.
Rather than doing kind of the timeline approach, it's sort of like, let's hop around in time and talk about sort of what makes Croatia unique as a country at Eurovision. And like one of the first things that I noted as I was looking across the stuff they've selection is the sort of deep dedication to the Croatian language at the contest. So their first entry in 1993 is the band Put, which is a vocal group, and they sing the song Don't Ever Cry. And Don't Ever Cry has an English title, and like a couple of the choruses are in English, but like otherwise, it's fully in Croatian. Overall, 22 of their entries at Eurovision out of like the 30-ish have been in Croatian, either fully or partially. 16 of those fully in Croatian.
Huh.
When I say they are deeply committed, like in 2002, they opt to translate their entry after it was selected from Croatian to English. It does fine in the contest, but like afterwards, their performer was like, yeah, I regret translating the song. In 2003, I think potentially as like a response to this and just sort of like the general, okay, this went okay. We didn't, the creator of the song is like, I don't know about that. After they select their song, there's like a follow-up votes on the news essentially of just like, hello, here is the Croatian version that you selected. Here is a version translated to English. Which one should we send? 2/3 of the vote overwhelmingly goes to the Croatian version, so they send that one.
Oh, nice.
When they come back in like 2016, 2017, they kind of flirt with sending all English songs, and they've done this along the way. Like Dora's Celebrate is another one that they translate to English. It does okay. But when Dora comes back in 2019, so does songs with Croatian in them. Roko's The Dream uses both English and Croatian. Mama Sh is entirely in Croatian, and it's just like, that's just very Croatian, and we'll come back to that one because like I think that's what they're doing right now, and I really like it. And then just like I just wanted to kind of just use this space to pour one out for 2021 and Albina's TikTok.
Yes,
just because that one, like, they are doing like a full pop number, but like they still take the time to have the one chorus in Croatian near the end. They're still very proud of this, and it works really well.
Yeah, and that one's unfortunate because it finished in the top 10 with the jury, finished in the top 10 with the audience, but because of math, it did not qualify for the grand final.
It placed 11th. Yeah, it's just a shame because, like, again, that one's just very fun. It felt like they were on to something there, and I would have loved to see that one get to the grand final. Particularly because, like, Croatia's record in the contest, at least in the 90s and 2000s, is very good. Like, during that relegation period, Croatia hits the ground running because, again, they were fairly successful in the 80s in selecting what Yugoslavia was going to be sending.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of their own performance record, they never get relegated, basically, no matter what the selection is. Like in 1996, and I want to go back to that year at some point because they have a weird tape-based qualifier of everything that needs to qualify. We're going to put those on a tape. We're going to send it to a jury. The jury is going to select what makes the contest from this. They place 19th in that qualifier, but then go on to the actual contest and placed 4th, which is their best performance at that point.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like it's a weird turnaround. Like that's a big jump.
Yeah.
They very quickly matched that high in 1999 where they send Maria Magdalena. This is just another one of just like, I just want to celebrate that song because like it slaps.
Yep. One of their iconic songs.
Just like true. Yeah, no, it's one of like, it's one that we've determined is iconic. And like, yes, I just like rewatching the performance of just going, oh, they put some echo effect on her mic. It's very effective. Like, I think they got in trouble for, like, how they had the backing vocals happening on that one, but, like, it's worth it. They deserve, like...
Yeah. Like, they took a point penalty for that, I believe, but I don't think it really affected their ranking overall. Like, they
still finished 4th, which, again, another high point for them to date.
Yeah.
But just overall, they are never getting relegated. They are never finishing low enough where it is a concern that they will not be in the next year's contest.
Mm-hmm.
Once semifinals get introduced in 2004, they continue to place highly enough to either auto-qualify, depending on if it's like, well, if you were in the top 10 this year, you don't have to do the semifinal, or they just make the cut. That luck eventually runs out in 2007, which is right about the time that the contest is also splitting the semifinal into two. But they are one of the only countries still, like I think there's like a handful of things like Malta, where it's like, yeah, they were never relegated, but just sort of like a very impressive track record with what they do. Part of that is just like they are, I guess, kind of ahead of the game just in overall representation, or making sure that there is representation in how they are selecting things. Like, one thing I found fascinating about Dora's history as a selection is that in like the early years of Dora, it is a jury selection, but the jury is made up of one regional jury per region of Croatia. So you have 20 regional juries forming an overall jury.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so just like there is a lot of people behind that selection compared to just like a 5-member jury of people that like it would potentially be nowadays. In 1998, the first time that a lot of countries are adding a televote, Croatia is one of those to their selection. It is essentially becoming the 21st juror, so like not a ton of sway on things, but on the other hand, all of those juries are also a jury, so there's still like a decent chunk of people selecting that entry.
Right. 4% of the vote matters. So.
Yes, exactly. Power to the people.
Yes.
But again, like they're one of the first ones to add a televote component to their national selection. In 2001, they shift how the juries are happening. So instead of like these 20 juries, we sort of merge a bunch of those together to get 4 regions of Croatia. Each of those regions gets a regional jury and a telephone region. So like both of them are getting kind of equal weight. To that mix is added both an expert jury. Okay. And then also, I was surprised that in 2001, there was an online vote.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I have no clue how effective that was, given telecommunications in 2001.
Right.
But just like the fact that they're trying that, and like over the course of looking at how Dora was getting selected, there was occasionally for like the televote, like a separate column for mobile votes of just like some people have mobile phones now.
Wow, that's interesting that they're getting like so stratified, because I don't think of Croatia as being like a huge country, but it just sounds so regionalized.
Yes, yeah, no, it's just like we have a lot of different regions and we want their opinion in a way that I feel like you don't necessarily see from these sorts of selections at the time. And then in 2003, they go like all televote. The general underlying like who is picking this has been some combo of, okay, maybe there's a 5-person jury plus televote. Nowadays, we've got like a bunch of regional juries that form like half of the vote, and then the televote forming the other half, like so many other countries now. But again, they have been playing around and they have been ahead of the curve technologically, for lack of a better way of framing it, and just sort of like the general focus on representation to make sure that like what Croatia is sending represents what Croatia wants to send. I find it kind of admirable of just like, because again, like you don't need to be doing this in like 1997. You can just like have the jury go, yeah, we like that one.
Right. Or just have it be an internal selection completely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like so many of the nations that we see understand Eurovision as a tool to reflect themselves on like a global stage. And in Croatia's case, they want to show off Croatian heritage. This goes back to the Yugoslavian entries. Jedan Dan is like Dubrovnik has like a deep medieval music heritage, and the music in Croatia Wikipedia page goes into this in great detail of just sort of all of these sort of very traditional methods that are part of its heritage. But for a more recent example, and by more recent I mean 13 years ago, haha.
Yeah.
In like the early 2010s, Croatia was kind of was having some struggles in the contest. They stop having Dora. They bring things internal. The second year that they do this, 2013, they have a very specific call for composers and people who are interested in submitting a song for the competition. They specifically call for entries that are traditional klapa style. Klapa is a traditional all-male a cappella style from Dalmatia. There's a deep focus on vocal harmony. You have very specific tenor parts and baritone, bass, whatever. But this is like the second week in a row I have unintentionally stumbled on something that is a UNESCO intangible cultural heritage of humanity.
Oh, really?
Yep, yeah. This one got that distinction in 2012.
Oh, good for them.
Yeah, and like it also the Croatian Ministry of Culture also recognizes this as just sort of intangible cultural heritage from 2008 on. So again, like they are, okay, we've been trying some stuff, we've been throwing some stuff at the wall, it's not sticking. Let's go back to what we do that nobody else can do. So again, like they call for traditional Klapa style songs, and then to perform this, they essentially pull together their version of a supergroup. Yeah. Is like from like 6 different Klapa ensembles. They pick the best tenors, the best whatevers, so they form Klapa Samora, and Klapa Samora performs Miseria. Now knowing all of this background and then like listening to this, I'm like, okay, no, this is an interesting choice being made.
Right. You said that they got the UNESCO distinction in 2012?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now it's all starting to make sense.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Just like, yeah, like, okay, we just got this UNESCO intangible cultural heritage. Let's celebrate that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because this was, I remember in 2013, like, it's like, oh, this just really is not going to solve Croatia's problems at the contest, just because it is like the cultural moment piece of it. And like, but I wasn't aware of that UNESCO distinction. It's like, oh, okay, at least now I kind of understand the strategy is not the right word, but like the reasoning behind like why they're doing this.
They have a very specific idea of what they want to send to the contest. Mm-hmm. Even if, as it turns out, the contest does not want that. Like, it places 13th in its semifinal. This does not fix their problems, as you've noted.
Right, yeah. This feels like something that Georgia does. So
yeah. It does feel like something that Georgia does. And again, that doesn't work. It's the second year in a row of things not working. But like, I think another thing that sort of Croatia understanding Eurovision as a tool is just sort of, they're willing to step away if it's not kind of working for them. Because like after that entry, they say, Europe is having a financial crisis right now that's hitting us kind of hard. We've had a lack of interest in terms of people submitting over the last few years. And also what we have been submitting has been getting poor results. We're going to take a break, think about what we want to do. We'll figure that out. We'll see you sometime in the future. They take a year, they regroup. They're like, we need another year. They sit out again. 2016, they're like, okay, we're going to come back. We'll try some stuff that other nations are doing. We are going to send Nina Kralik, who is the winner of The Voice of Croatia. And she makes the final. Great. That's a song in English. They do some promo for it around Europe. They do the sort of glad handing you need to do. That gets them some positive results. Cool. The next year, they internally select Jacques Houdek, who is a coach on The Voice of Croatia. And then also just from my research this week is just all over the history of Dora's 2000 selections.
Yep.
Where he is very clearly a jury favorite and a televote meh.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. Like, he was the runner-up in the 2011 version. And I think he is a stronger singer than Daria was. And Celebrate, I was ambivalent about the song at the time. I'm intrigued by its growing popularity in the last few years. But yeah, like seeing him come back in 2017, it was just like, oh, okay. Like Croatia's doing one of the things that we recommend. It's just like have a national final, have some people in your Rolodex to call on when you need like a backup plan. And yeah, it's just, I don't think anybody was expecting what 2017 was going to
No, I don't think any of us expected My Friend.
Nope.
But well, again, just sort of looking over his history in Dora is just like the jury loves him and like makes sense. He's got like a very good voice. Mm-hmm. But just sort of the televote is just sort of ambivalent on him for the most part. Like that is what is keeping him from winning Dora for the most part, is just sort of the televote is like, this is fine.
Yeah.
And then just sort of looking at their recent success, now that they have come back, now that Dora is back in the picture as their selection method, there's been a willingness to play within the contest rules to bring contemporary Croatia and contemporary Croatia's issues into the contest. Let 3 and Mama Sh is not a subtle piece.
Oh.
And again, and again, like it's it is being political within Eurovision, while like very fastidiously bending the rules it knows it can bend. And that did fairly well for them. They make the final. We all sort of love the Technicolor insanity of that one.
Yep.
And then the following year, they have their best performance ever with Baby Lasagna. My brain consistently wants to think that this one is also in Croatian at some point, even though it's very much not. Like, it's fully in English. Rim Tim Tuggy Dim is just filler lyrics. 2 years ago, I was very proud of my ESC 250 ballot, because like, I have voted for nothing that is in English, and then someone was like, you voted for Rim Tim Tuggy Dim. There's still so much on that stage that is traditional Croatia. Like, they are taking traditional dress of the region and making it rock and roll. The lyrics of that song are very much about modern issues facing Croatia and other nations in that region. And like, it's also just hooky as hell and really clicking with the fan base who wants something to latch onto. And like, they place second. Baby Lasagna gets a hero's welcome when he returns, even though he only plays second. Looking at Croatia overall, like, they are very committed to bringing like their full self to the contest in a way that I really, really appreciate. Just like from the consistent use of the Croatian language, the sort of thing that is getting selected by Dora, and how it is a representation of what the Croatian people want.
Yeah, I mean, like, even though it is a pretty standard format in terms of like how selection shows work, where it's like it's 2 semifinals and then a final, and like 24 entries I believe this year, but yeah, there's such variety in the lineup, and it really does feel like it is a consensus that is reached, rather than it just being like, oh, there's like this one like actual viable entry among 12 song-shaped songs.
I'm also just thinking about the year that was like Let 3, and Let 3 just like completely just steamrollered everybody else.
Right. But there was a lot of other songs in that final where it was just like, I think even they were appreciative of Let 3, just because, I mean, Let 3 is a legendary band. Like, we'll link to the episode where we talked about them in the show.
Yeah,
notes,
like I kind of glazed over them because like we've talked about them pretty extensively on the show because we like them a lot.
Yeah, and they are a lot. But there were a number of other songs that are still in my like selection season playlist, and a couple that are in my main, or it's just like, oh yeah, they just had the unfortunate luck of being in the contest the year that Let 3 was happening.
Well, and just sort of looking at what they've selected over the years, it's very easy to go, oh yeah, no, like this is very Croatian, because like Maria Magdalena, Mary Magdalene, Croatia is a deeply Catholic nation.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh yeah, of course this is what they sent. Of course this is sort of what they want to do with the contest. That was like my great joy of sort of looking at this and like, okay, so like there's Dora, as you've said, is like pretty straightforward. Like, it's very standard selection show, and they've been pretty consistent about its use, but like just like what you've got under the surface there is like, just again, I love the way that I've gotten to understand the way that nations understand the power of Eurovision as like this soft tool to present themselves on the stage, and like Croatia is doing that. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of the EuroWhat. Thanks for listening. The EuroWhat podcast is hosted by Ben Smith, that's me, and Mike McComb.
That's me. You can find our full archive of episodes on our website at EuroWhat.com. For a free newsletter and more info about the EuroWhat AV Club bonus podcast, check us out at patreon.com/EuroWhat.
Next time on the EuroWhat, we'll be taking a look at Lithuania's history with Eurovision.